don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority, honestly.
Who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?
Peace, family. I feel like it's been like a long time since I've been seeing you guys. I don't really see you, but I feel your energy. So welcome to this, the latest edition of HAPI Talks. I'm so, this is going to be a fun topic to talk about because we're about to break down Black relationships, and we have the expert here, and this is going to be really, really, this is going to be good. So first, I just want to go over some little happy news. We see DM is in the house, always the first person. If it's not DM, it's Michelle. So I thank you guys for your continued support. That's what's up. So the first things first, the HAPI City Tour. We have a few cities left. December 5th, we will be in, and that's a Sunday, we will be in Washington, D.C. And with our good brother, Anthony Browder. He is actually going to, we're co-hosting this event. So it's IKG Cultural Resource Center. That's his non-for-profit that he's had for actually over 40 years. He's celebrating the 40th year next year of his, having this organization. And so we will be, hosting this big event. You'll see the film screening, and then he's going to do a special presentation for only ticket holders. Okay. And listen, this is Browder in person. We only have enough seats because of the COVID regulations and this and that in DC. You don't need a vaccine, but I'm telling you guys now, if you want your tickets, you better get them now because, sometimes we like to wait right until like a little day of, let me get our little tickets, or try to walk in there and try to get tickets. We are going to, we hopefully we have a ticket for you, but we may not. So you might want to get your tickets now. Okay. Browder is doing a special presentation and he entitled it. Okay. And without a question mark, I'm going to say it, but he's like, no question mark. It's an exclamation mark. Why Nile Valley civilization matters to people of African ancestry. It is not a question mark. It is an explanation mark. So Browder is about to get it in. Okay. And if you guys have, you guys know Browder, you can check and look at any of our, if you go to our YouTube channel, you can see the gobs of videos that we've done with Browder in Egypt. Here, he did a really nice one with the late Dr. Ranoka Rashidi and Professor Hunter Adams. So you know what Browder's about. He's about to bring it. He's fresh coming back from Egypt. He has a lot of good things that he was doing over there. So if you are in the DC area, you might want to make it your way to DC on December 5th and to see the HAPI screening and plus the special presentation with Anthony Browder. Next, after DC, we are rolling to Atlanta. Now, the cool thing about Atlanta is a couple of things. Our guest, the guest that we have tonight, she's going to be on the panel. And in Atlanta on December 11th, we have Dr. Chika Akua, who is good friends with Browder. And he's also hosting the One Africa Returning to the Source Conference in Aswan, Egypt, with us in February of next year. But Chika Akua will be hosting the panel discussion, and it will include Dr. Alicia Watkins, who is here with us tonight, Taki, Blue Pill, and Shar Bates. Now, the cool thing about this in Atlanta is that we're going to have a special presentation, okay, from, and you guys can, I don't know if you remember this guy. He was on HAPI Talks. Taki did an interview with Dr. David Anderson. A brilliant, this brother's brilliant. He's doing a special presentation, and it's entitled Black Economics Matter: Wealth Building Principles of People of African Descent. Listen, he literally we had a conversation 2 days ago, and he was like, well, I was thinking about saying this and talking about this. I was so amped. I had to pull the car over because I was like, oh my God, this is going to be, his presentation is going to be so powerful. So if you're in the Atlanta area, we're going to be at the Epicenter, the Riverside Epicenter, which is Black owned. We're going to be there. Make sure you get your ticket and come out and see us. So you get the panel discussion and you get the special presentation if you have your ticket. And then following that, we're going to be up with the Haitian Collaborative up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That will be December 18th. And then we're going to take a little break and then come back and hit Houston January 9th. And then after that, it's all getting ready for our tour to Kemet in the end of February. So if you are in any of those cities, DC, Atlanta, or Connecticut, make sure you get your tickets because it's going to be, we have some really powerful things lined up for everybody. I see that our lovely brother, Dr. Ken Lee Harris, is in the house. Now, I'm just going to say a couple of things in here that we're going to get because I can't wait to talk to Dr. Alicia. Dr. Ken Lee Harris, he is such a dynamic, not only speaker, but person. He was one of our presenters at our HAPI City Tour in Detroit, and he runs the National Black League, like all the National Black Leagues. He is dope.com. Follow him. Go to his link. Make sure you're following him. He is a powerful speaker. He was literally, I feel like he was just literally sent from somebody's ancestor and said, here, come here, let me just free these Black people. He is getting it in. So make sure you guys are supporting the National Black Business League. Ken Harris is, Dr. Ken Harris is really holding it down. I see Lee's in the house. Nafisa helps us out. She does the post on our Buy Black, and on Sunday, the little Sunday motivation that you guys are feeling. That's all Nafisa. You can see because she has hearts and stars right there. And I see Rashamello in the house. Rashamella. Mitchell. All right. So it's good to see you guys. And Youssef. Okay. All right. And Kalia. Okay. So without further ado, let me see. We did the tour. Without further ado, I introduce you to Dr. Alicia Watkins.
Hi there. How are you? Listen, I have got to get out to DC and listen to Anthony Browder. Wow. How amazing. And
let me tell you,
he's going to be good, right? I follow him and I love his stuff. I read that book, Black Genesis, of which he was quoting years ago. I read that whole book cover to cover, and I have been obsessed over ancient Kemet, which is so fascinating because this is way before I found out that I have direct lineage with Ramses III. I'm so grateful for that. Oh my goodness. So I feel like I can get a history lesson of my own lineage if I see this Anthony Browder presentation. So I'm going to see if I can try to make it out there. Seriously. I've been needing.
Yeah, let me tell you. Okay, first of all, I like how you just rolled over. Oh, I'm a direct descendant of Ramesses III.
Yes.
Okay, let's just go, let's back up there. But yes, you are correct. Professor Browder, oh my God, like, he is such, when he's talking, it's not only like what he's saying, he has this velveteen voice, and it's like he's saying, and he's reaching like inside of you, and he's talking to your spirit. So that's what's up.
Yeah, that may be worth it. I'm going to try to get on that because I really want to see that presentation.
Yeah, we would love to see you. Oh, King Simon says, hey, Dr. Alicia.
Hey, King Simon, what's happening?
Yes. So, okay, Miss direct descendant of Ramesses III.
Yeah, it makes me feel proud. Like I walk around with my chest, like it made me have some self-confidence that it wasn't there. I was like, I got lineage all the way back from ancient Kemet, and I got proof. I got receipts. For my receipts.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Lee is like, yes. He's like, yep. He's like, yep. So just tell us a little bit about you before we get started.
Well, I mean, I am so happy to say that it's always been my lifetime passion to work with couples seriously, and getting my PhD in social work. I am a social worker, and getting a PhD in social work and being able to teach. I teach at a university in a master's program, and I teach the next generation of therapists. It has always been a dream of mine, and it's always been a dream of mine to be a therapist. And I worked really hard for so many years, raising my family and getting tenure and working real hard about publishing articles and all that stuff in academia. But what I'm doing right now for couples coaching has just been remarkable. I started doing this back again. I've always been a therapist, but I really got into it passionately during the pandemic. I got into it very passionately. And I worked as a private practice, but I went on my own to do couples coaching. And I'm finding that it's just so thrilling to be in a position to help couples reconnect with each other. Because couples who have been married for a while, sometimes life gets away from you. You have children, you have all these busy lives. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they're doing a whole bunch of different things. And so you forget about your spouse that's right there with you, your teammate. And sometimes you care for older parents. And so you're being torn in so many different directions. And it's really great to help couples establish daily ongoing rituals so that they can reconnect with each other and themselves. I also find that I work with a lot of couples to help them establish recommitment to each other, because sometimes we're not our best, and sometimes we do things, and usually our partner is the brunt of a lot of the things where we fall less than what we should be doing, and sometimes we're less than respectful, and we do things to hurt each other. And it's not that you don't love each other, it's just that you're not your best. And so I work with a lot of couples to repair a lot of past damage and hurt, and in a way where they're much stronger as going forward. People, they love each other, and sometimes we're not necessarily showing up and doing our best. So that is one thing that I absolutely am enjoying right now in my life.
Wow. Okay. So you said so much. I mean, these are so many different ways we can go here. Okay. So let me just back up and say, I feel so inspired listening to you, because anytime people say they are walking in their passion, right?
Yes.
Because listen, our good brother Browder says it all the time, and he says he says this, that that Francis Cress Wesleyan told him this, and so he uses this a lot, and he was like, we all come here with a cosmic purpose, and he was like, it's up to us to remember what it is and then to walk in it. And so you definitely, I can feel that you're walking in it. And it's so interesting because with COVID, a lot of people yes, there was a lot of death that happened, during this time, but it was also a lot of rebirth, of people. Like we had a chance to just kind of sit down and really start evaluating what was important and what's not, and really what we want to do, and just, what feels good to us. So I'm really glad that you're there, that you're doing the thing you want to do.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes perfect sense, because with COVID, a lot of couples who were used to filling up their time outside of the home, they were forced to fill up their time with each other. And so I filled up my caseload. I mean, we were really at capacity during COVID. And it was just because couples you can't sit on the fence anymore. It's either what you're going to do, and it's very uncomfortable. Have you ever sat on the fence? It's real uncomfortable. It hurts.
Yeah, you can't sit there. You can't sit there long.
You need to either recommit to each other and work some of these things out, and you can't bury yourself into all of these distractions, because the distractions were gone. And so that was a wonderful time for me to serve people and serve families and couples, slow the conversation down and really get down to what's happening. And I would be happy to say there's some couples that didn't make it, they moved on, but there have been a lot of couples who have just decided they're going to reconnect and really get together and work out some of the issues that they were avoiding.
Yeah. And if you were in a New York City apartment, that little space is tiny.
That space, and it can get like crippling. It can be crippled. So it was nice to see people renew their love for each other and get to know each other again. It was kind of cool to be part of that.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just ask the first obvious question. Is Black love revolutionary?
Well, yes, revolution. Well, I'm sitting here with you right now as a descendant of Ramses III because somebody in Egypt loved each other. It's revolutionary to me. But yeah, I mean, it's essential for the survival of Black people. I mean, if you don't have love, you don't have it, you destroy each other. I mean, I've been following this story of this rapper out of Tennessee. I think he's from Chicago though, but from Tennessee.
Yeah.
His name is Young Dolph. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tragically lost his life. I mean, how terrible, gunned down by another Black person. We know who it is. And so, Black love has to really matter in order for Black life to matter. To kill another Black person like that means that someone along the way didn't pour love into you because you're not able to give what you never received. And so it's a really sad illustration, really sad proof of some of the hatred that's going on in our community and contempt for each other. And that's one thing that's definitely shown in the streets of all sorts of neighborhoods where you find this senseless sort of crime. Yeah
No, absolutely. And we know that that it's by design. So we have to we have to really rise to the occasion and put our best 2 feet forward to make our relationships last, and not only just romantic relationships, but just relationships just in general, with each other. So, okay. So now we're going to kind of just backtrack here. Now, before because let's just get into this now. Before you can even get to the point where you are sitting in somebody's counseling with a mate, okay?
Yeah.
What types, before we start, looking for a mate, like what are some things you think that we should have? What are some things we should be doing, and what should be some things that we should be thinking before we're even out there trying to date and to be with somebody?
Well, I mean, first thing is that if you have a mental health issue, you really need to get that in order first.
Wait, no, we're not gonna gloss over that one, okay? No, we're not, because I know like DM said something really, he was saying that he thought that therapy wasn't, cool, when he was a young person, but as an older person, he understands the value of therapy. But this whole idea of mental illness, there's, that's a real thing, everybody. Yeah. Like there are mental, we suffer from mental illness. And so if you do, you need to get that together.
Yeah. And you can't pray yourself out of that. Sometimes there are helping professionals who are there for you and can help you with your mental health issues and also any sort of addiction that you may have. So sex addiction, gambling, shopping addiction, all sorts of addictions, all of these things are going to break a relationship and break a marriage just instantly. So you really need to get that into control. And it makes sense because if you're not willing to deal with these issues, it's really hard to establish connection with another person when you're just struggling with so much in yourself. I had a really smart wife one time come to me for therapy a few years ago, and her husband was an alcoholic, and so he loved her. He loved her enough to come into couples therapy, and she was just like, he's an alcoholic, I got to bring him in here. And I used the love that they had for each other. I used that in order to get him into treatment. To get some treatment for that, because it was almost like it's either the bottle or it's going to be me, because very, very awful. And an untreated partner for many people, it can be a deal breaker, and I usually ask people how do you see your future with this person? How do you see your future if this person's not willing to deal with their issues, not willing to deal with their mental health issues? And unwillingness to get help will inflict unnecessary suffering among the people around you. So if you're not going to get help, you might as well stay single. You don't want to get your stuff together. Because think about it. I mean, if you want to date and start getting married, you have an obligation to insist health in your family. I mean, you're raising children in the household, and you need to have a positive environment for them. And you decide to get married and create a family, and getting help, impacts your life, but it's also the responsibility for you to be the best spouse you can be. It's your responsibility to be the best parent you can be. And also treatment for mental health issues such as depression, it's 95% effective. With the right care. So not only should you get treatment, but when you do get treatment, you can actually heal from it. Like, you can manage it so that you can be your only person. And we know that 2 out of 5 people who are depressed actually get treatment. So more people need to, be able to recognize and to say, you know what, I'm struggling with these issues and I need help. But it can take a toll on a marriage, a toll on a relationship. And you really need to look at that.
Yeah, because it seems like if someone is really suffering from something, it's like you're starting off on an unfair, it's an unfair playing field.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you can't. It's almost like you can't even have just a regular conversation about something. Like if someone really, like if they're schizophrenic, if they, like you said, they're suffering from major depression or bipolar, manic, or what is it, bipolar, manic, and what's the other one, depressive, episodes or something like that. Like those are really, it's really hard to have a relationship. So, all right. So so now, you don't have any mental illness, but now sometimes do you feel that there are some things that you may not have a mental illness for, but some things you have to work on yourself? Like, do you give anyone inventories to take about themselves, or is there a place that people can go and kind of just get a look at who they are, or do they need to just talk to relatives? Because relatives sometimes will say some stuff.
You know what? Outside of that, dealing with addiction and mental health issues and all of that, I say go for it. Get on out there, because you're never ever going to really know. You're never really going to know who you are unless you date somebody. I think like getting married and making that commitment to get married and to be in a serious relationship with someone, that in and of itself is some unknowns that's going to come up. You are going to grow and prosper and evolve in a way that you never will, and unless you're in a relationship with another person.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Okay, so now I'm good. I don't have a mental illness. Now I'm just gonna get with somebody, get married. Like get in there
and do it. Why? What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Just go for it.
No, it just seems like it may be some things I just need to kind of get straight. I mean, I don't know. Like, shouldn't I have maybe some things, like some requirements or something? I don't know. I always hear men and women have requirements for to be in another relationship. I mean, I don't know.
You should always have preferences and make a list of the things that you must have. I mean, those are important, but I really do think that you just need to just go for it. And if you find somebody that really floats your boat, that you really are attracted to, because you have to listen to that attraction. If you really attracted to that person, you got to go for it. That person's not going to be perfect. You are not perfect, but you definitely, that in and of itself is what's going to help you to grow and learn. And I think what happens is that people pick the mate, or they pick the person to settle down with, the very person who's going to teach you what you need to know. A lesson that you need to know, and you can only learn it through that person that you're drawn to, because you're drawn to somebody who that you need to learn that lesson to. It's not conscious, it's unconscious, but it's not conscious, but just go for it. I tell people to go for it. Get on those apps. Man, we did at the All Black National Convention this year. Oh, I was so happy. We did a speed dating session. Yes, we did a speed dating session. I'm thinking, okay, 40 people will show up. Hopefully I can get 20 men and 20 women to show up. I don't know. I was like, I don't know how we're going to fill this room. I don't know if people really want to, come here and do this. We had not only that room filled, we had a second overflow room filled, and we had half of the hallway filled full of singles wanting to come out, and they were there. People were hooking up with each other. It was I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like a really magical experience. And you talk about revolutionary Black love. It was going on right there in those 2 rooms and throughout the entire conference. And but it exceeded my expectations. It is something that I would love to do again. I say go for it. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Stop being scared. What you scared of, Felicia?
Okay, so just like on the job training.
On the job training, yeah.
Okay, all right. So when you're sitting down with these couples, like what seems to be like the main issue that men and women are having with each other?
Oh, they want to be loved. They want somebody to see them. They want somebody to love them, and they want somebody to accept them, and they want connection. Hands down, all of it is about an emotional connection. And when I get down to it, why is that important? And why is that important to you? Why is that important? And when I get down to the bottom of it and I scrape all the jelly off the toast, it really is this person going to be there for me when I need them? Are they going to be available for me? Are they going to be able to receive me in the way that is loving? And that is what happens. And only time you fall away from that or fall astray of that is when fear sets in, when insecurity set in, when you think, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough, and all of these things come in. But at the bottom, at the end of the day, every single Black person that I work with, every single person in general, but Black people in general, and specifically, they want somebody to love them unconditionally, and they want to be with the person that they're with. When they're really, really in love with them, they want to be respected. They want that person to respect them, and they have hurts. You know, they have a lot of baggage that they're carrying on. They have a lot of triggers it takes away. A lot of people are afraid to open up and be vulnerable with their partner. And so I help to facilitate that process so that they can have that true connection and intimacy with each other. That's what it boils down to.
Wow. So now, like some of this work that you're talking about, do you ever do they ever have to kind of go and do their own little work and come back, or is it always like centered around the other person?
Yeah, I make it centered when I deal with couples. I have it centered around the interaction between the two of them. What's happening? What's the dynamics between the two of them? Are they a person whose feelings get hurt and then they're scared to say something about it, so they lock themselves away and they become unavailable emotionally?
Okay.
Or are they somebody who's going to kind of attack and say, pay attention to me. I can't believe you did that. So they have to be able to recognize the patterns in their relationships. Like, it's the pursuer sort of withdrawal sort of dynamic that I see a lot with couples. And so I just lay it out there and say, this is what's happening. How are we going to change this around? So instead of like pulling away from each other, I try to, in that space, get them to turn toward each other so that they can have these conversations and tell a story about why it's important for them. Why is money important to you? Tell a story about that. Well, and they start talking, they'll say, well, when I was 6 years old, the lights were cut off. And when I was 7, we didn't have any money and there's no Christmas. And money was an issue. So it's a sore spot for me now. And then when you start to tell that story, you have to have empathy for that and to have an understanding. Oh God, I understand why this is so sensitive for you.
Yeah. When you're working with couples, is it ever, like when you kind of lay it out, or sometimes people are like, you know what, I'm good. I don't want to do all this. Like they're just like, I don't want to do all this. And they just want to walk away from the table. Has that happened a lot?
I've had people retreat, and so you try to bring them. Okay, wait.
I like how you're changing my words here. I said they just walking away. You're like, oh yes, they retreat.
Come back. You focus on them, and you say, tell me what's going on with you. What's happening for you right now? Do you feel frustrated? Are you feeling overwhelmed? What's happening for you? Are you feeling like there's nothing's getting through? Or, you have that dialogue with them, and then hopefully you have that relationship with them where they feel like they can really talk to you. Now, my services aren't free, so they're paying money for it. I'm like, hey, you better come on out with it because time is money. You'll be paying for more. But outside of that, it's just help them sort through it. Not all couples stay together, by the way. And so you have to be able to, the couples that don't stay together is ones that struggle with the empathy, and they struggle with dealing with really toxic shame. They feel like there's something wrong with them and you can't apologize for what's happening. But very rarely, even couples like that, where it can be kind of difficult, I can bring them around where I can say, tell me about that. What is that? What is going on with you that you can't open up in this way? So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So when you were, it's something else that you said that I started to think about. When you were saying that they like retreat, then you have to kind of work with them one-on-one. When like the retreating piece, or okay, just in terms of like men and women, are there some themes that you see that kind of occur, with men and women over and over and over again in relationships? Like are like men kind of struggling with this more than women, or I'm just trying to figure out is there anything that is gender specific?
What's gender specific is that a lot of men really need to be respected. They really need to feel respect is so important for them across the board. That floats their boat. If they feel that the person that they love is not respecting them in the way that they feel like they need to be respected, especially publicly and interpersonally, they feel like they need to have the utmost level of respect. So that is one thing that's very key. And if they ever feel that they're disrespected by their partner, unknowingly to their partner sometimes, and sometimes their partner understands, their wife will say, I'm sorry, that was pretty disrespectful. It really hurts them a lot, because I think a lot of men, in order for a man to marry a woman, he loves them completely. So marriage is not something that men take lightly. Men take it very seriously in general. I'm making generalities here, but I think if they do, they really want to be loved and respected by their spouse and by the people in the house. Everybody has to respect them, because they work really hard. They show their love in a way where they work really hard so that they can provide for the family. And when they participate in the family, they want to be respected and acknowledged and appreciated for all of what they've done. So being grateful for any and everything that your partner does for you is something I always reiterate with my couples. Any small, it could be really, really tiny. It could be a really nice thing someone does to you that's a 2. I say, act like it's a 10, never take your partner for granted at all. And that will help them with respect for sure.
Okay. So that's men. Anything that women tend to,
Yeah, women tend to really want that connection. They really want that love and connection with them. They really want someone who they feel like could be a team player with them. They don't want to manage the household alone. And it is really something, because even though, it's 2021, a lot of marriages fall into very traditional roles, where the women do a lot of cooking and cleaning. So across the board, what a lot of women say is that I'm taking care of these kids and cooking and cleaning and doing all of this stuff by myself. I need some help. I need someone to help me with these kids, help me with the laundry, help me with the dishes. They really need like household help from their spouse. And usually some men will be like, well, the bills are paid. You got a roof over your head and a shirt on your back, and it's nice and warm in the house. What else could you want from me? Like, no, I need you to get off the couch and help me put the dishes away, help me put the babies to sleep. And, because women are working, and when they get home, or even if they work inside the home, they still have to manage the household, and they need help across the board. Women need help managing the household.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, absolutely. And one of the things that's interesting that you say that, and I was just kind of thinking, because some people are talking, about the like these polygamous type of situations for that reason, that there's a lot that one person has to do. Like, do you have any type of, have you worked with like people who like have several wives or several husbands?
I have not personally worked, but I know people who participate in polygamy or polyamory or a polyamorous life, and I appreciate it for those who are willing to do that. I mean, if adults are consenting to that and they're transparent and there's rules around all of that, then I mean, more power to them. I mean, if it works for everybody, I think that it is so, in my practice and in my work, I think it's so hard to maintain a connection with one person and make that be stable and healthy. Yeah. I can't even imagine doing that with several other people. Like, it's got to be, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but I don't know how probable that would be to really maintain relationship with multiple people. I mean, it is when it's very difficult to do it with one person. So
yeah, you know. Yeah. And I think maybe because now we're just in a different time. Like we're in 2021. Like maybe, you know, if it was just a different time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, polygamy worked back when we live on in commune settings, in a I don't know, farm-like or tribal settings. I think polygamy works because you know, I get my needs met by a whole bunch of different people in the village. I mean, modern society, we live in a single family home. It's just one family in here. You know, the way society is set up, it's just not set up for polygamy, although people can work around it. You have to live in a commune sort of a setting. But I mean, yeah, so historically, when you lived in communities like that, I can see where polygamy could actually be pretty useful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, oh yeah, she said during Ramesses' time. That's
probably back then. There's a lot of descendants of Ramses out there, probably for those same reasons.
Well, we are on HAPI Talks with one today. Okay. We are on HAPI Talks with one today. So now, okay, so you are in this awesome position of like repairing Black love, repairing these relationships. When you're looking at you know, like before they get to the point of marriage, like do you do like pre-marriage counseling?
Oh yeah, actually, and I didn't mention that, and I probably should have. I have a lot of couples who are engaged, who are trying to decide. What is really nice is that a lot of couples are saying, we're engaged, this is young Black love, or it could be a second time, this is their second go at it for marriage. They want to make it work. What can I do right now before we start? How can we make this work? And I think it's a great investment, honestly.
Absolutely.
Weddings cost $30,000, $40,000. My services are not even near that amount of money. So to invest all that money in one day, you should be able to invest in the rest of your marriage, right? Yeah. The wedding is expensive, but what you invest in making sure the pre-marriage stuff is done and making sure those expectations are clear, making sure you're transparent, and you got to talk about debts. You got to talk about how we're going to run this household. What are your hopes and dreams for your families? All of those things. I have those conversations with new couples and just adjusting to each other. You know, there are a lot of people who, yes. And there's a lot of blended families. There are a lot of families who've had relationships before they've met each other. So you got to navigate all of that. The biological parent, the ex, you have to manage all of those things. It can be pretty complicated, but if two people can get together and form this relationship and have real clear boundaries around expectations and making sure you have agreements with each other and you're solid with each other, you know, stepchildren can't manipulate you. Biological children can't manipulate the grandparents. All of that becomes kind of mute. It kind of melts away because we have this household where this couple is together and they're on the same page. So that's what I do in those situations. Help them figure out the rules, get on the same page, commit to each other, and then everyone else will fall in line. Trust me.
Wow. And you know, and let me tell you, that right there is why Black love is revolutionary. Because if we can come together and this bond is solid, that's it. Like we can literally take over the world.
Yes, you can.
You know, like, you know, because men and women need each other. And they really need each other.
Yeah, and why fight with each other? Why fight with each other? That's your partner. That's the person supposed to be there for you. They can decide whether to pull the plug or not legally, right? So you need to make that person your best friend. Make sure and they have to come first. Like your husband or spouse or person that you really, they come first. They come first. And that's something to grapple with. They have to come first.
Yeah. So now, so, like even so, okay, that's really cool. You're working with these engaged couples, and there's a lot of information out there, and every day, I mean, we're inundated with like all these ideas that people have in terms of dating, right? This is how a man should date a woman. And that's commonly something that like if you're a man, you have to be consistent. You have to do this, you have to do that. But I want to just, we can talk about from that point of view, but also I want to talk about like, what does a woman supposed to do when they're dating? Because it seems like we don't really have any, I mean, I haven't heard any rules or any, not even just rules, but things that we like, what should we be doing when we're dating a man?
That's really interesting. I say the biggest thing women do, and I get my advice is to take it slow. Slow. Don't speed this up at all. Slow, and be very observant. Pay attention to everything, and just watch and listen, because the person you're dating, even if they try to manipulate you or if they're trying to hide something, it always comes out. You're always going to show your true self. So you take it very slow. And I love love, and that falling in love is so wonderful, but you also have to be logical too. Let yourself fall in love and let yourself float away with that. But before you make some sort of a commitment, for women in particular, take it very slow, because men can't hide. They only hide but so long, and they show themselves. And so you need to see them for who and what they are and decide if that's something you want to deal with for the rest of your life. How do you see the best question that you should have in your mind is, how do you see this playing out for the rest of your life if you actually make a commitment?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I think that can kind of go both ways there, Dr. Alicia, because I heard your husband. Okay. And for y'all,
what did he say?
I wasn't going to even bring him in.
Let's bring him in. What did he say?
No, because he said he was telling this story, and I thought that was so good, because see, that's exactly what you're talking about, is what's, is that as women, we have to do this, we have to do that, but what do we have to do, right? And so your husband was talking about this story. He was on a phone call and somebody was over, and he thought everything was great. And then I think she made some type of little dinner or something. And then he was like, okay, give me a minute. And then he was like, because he was on this important phone call, and she's like, I made the dinner. And so then it became like she started screaming or just started acting like she was crazy. And he was just sitting there like, okay, I'm really clear. Like, I'm never going to see this person again.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You didn't hear the story. You probably heard the story. I may be telling it incorrect, but it was on one of his lives on Instagram. And I was thinking, I was like, that's true, because as we don't sometimes think about like how men evaluate women. You know what I'm saying? Like we're because we're girls. So, we know how we evaluate men, but it's really interesting to know how men evaluate women.
Yeah, I'm not so I kind of feel like problems like that can actually be fixed. Even I really do think I honestly do.
You're a good therapist. You're a good I couldn't do what you're doing right now. This is great. That you're very optimistic, and you're like, we're gonna work through this.
Yeah.
Wow. I would have been like shitdown.com.
No, I mean, just because you see someone who's not at their best, that doesn't mean you just throw them away. I think that if you're with somebody who's willing to work on themselves, and just if they're willing to work on themselves and they're open, and they get triggered and they do things that they normally would never do, I say you can work with them and help them heal from that. Now, I don't know that I do remember that story that happened to Boyce, but I don't know. He could have, maybe if I knew him well, I did know him back then, but maybe if I knew about that story, there's things you can do to help you process that. It could have been it's probably definitely baggage that she's bringing into the relationship. We all have our own baggage. And just because you look at somebody's baggage doesn't mean you just give up and walk away. That's not, you just see that, and you have to have compassion. I am the kind of therapist that has a lot of compassion for people. I have compassion for people. I really do believe people are doing the best that they can. And I think that sometimes they're reacting to things that maybe things are coming up for them and they're reacting to a lot of that. And there's things you can do to help process that and help them work through it. Yeah.
Okay, but you said some real key. You said that if they're willing to work on themselves.
Yes, yes.
That's key, because but not everybody is willing to work on themselves. And so like in a situation like that, it's like, what you gonna do, Dr. Alicia?
Well, you have to make a decision. But I think that there's a way to approach somebody where they can feel safe enough with you, where they can deep down inside admit, say, you know what, our relationship is important. And I'm very sorry for being less than respectful. I hold a lot of my couples to a high level of respect for each other. And I really do think that that's what we need in the Black community, is to hold ourselves accountable for a high level of respect. And if you think that you are too grandiose to show somebody respect, then, that's problematic. And if you come from this place of toxic shame where you feel like you're just not worthy or feel like you're just not good enough, that's also problematic. So I really do not like that level of contempt that I see in social media and among Black people, and especially in relationships, and how Black women are spoken about in media. I don't like that. And I don't like when Black women attack Black men. It's wrong. In any way it goes, it's wrong. And so I think that we do need to have compassion for each other and have an understanding that we're all doing the best that we can, and we all want to be loved. All of us want to be loved.
We all want to be loved.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. Okay. Guys, I have some questions for you. So if you can just, because you said a term, and I think it's like the third time you said this term, toxic shame. Can you just talk a little bit more about like what is toxic shame?
Well, you should be ashamed. Like if you fall below a level of respect, we know what that is. And you call somebody a name, or you do things, you make a mistake, or you do things you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to be ashamed enough where you can say, wow, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry I did this. I can understand that this was problematic for you. Please accept my apology. I won't do this again. I really want that. That's appropriate level of shame. You're supposed to feel bad when you do something bad to someone.
Yeah.
Where it turns into toxic shame is when you start having comments or thoughts that I'm a bad person because I did this terrible thing. There's something wrong with me. And that's very depressing. And it can spiral into a place where you don't want to be. And so that's more of a toxic shame. I'm not worthy. You feel like you're not worthy of something. I'm not worthy of this, or there's something fundamentally wrong with me. And so that's when you go into a place that's not so healthy for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I like that. You're such a nice therapist. I like that, because you can really, I'm liking everything that you're saying, in terms of just being able to just men, like I said before, men, these Black hearts and Black love, and not just giving up on anyone. So when you're looking at just the like the gender roles, right? Are there any like commonalities that you're seeing? Like you talked a little bit about before, with the like women cooking and cleaning and things like that. But are there any type of like just general roles that you're seeing more men and women just falling into, like in your practice?
So roles like what? So I'm seeing a lot of people being caretakers to I mentioned it before, caretakers to maybe their parents who aren't there. That's particular. I think in our culture, we don't want to put our moms or whatever into a nursing home facility. We want to be able to care for them in the house. That's one thing I'm finding. And usually it's the woman that takes that on, the caretaking role. So I'm finding that to be the case. And it can be very overwhelming. And I'm challenging a lot of the men to step up and to help out, or to provide help, or to pay for someone to come in and help and clean and cook and help take on these responsibilities, because Black women are sort of the center of the family. They're holding it together, not only physically holding kids together, but they take on the emotional burden of the people in the family. So they're calling, they finding out what's going on with the family gossip, and they're carrying that on, where Black men in general don't want to get into all of that, They're just like, you know what, I'm going to watch the football game and I'm out. I don't want to hear about what's going on.
Yeah, they're very clear.
They're very clear.
Yeah, but you know what? I at first when I, because I kind of see how like, men are kind of like, they do things that make them feel good, and they don't do things that don't make them feel good. And sometimes as a woman, you're just like, well, why, because it's just exactly what you said, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes to like self-preservation and just self care, sometimes it's a really good way to just, to be okay, to not get so involved, in certain things, because, you can just kind of keep your mental stability, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, you do need that balance, but it's just how it's how we're made. I don't know what it is. It's just how we're made. It's like you're having a bad day, or if you experience racism and white supremacy on the job, it's the Black woman that's going to carry that. This is data. Data tells us that too. This is all kind of science tells us that too. But we already know that it's the case, that we get together and we take on other people's problems in the family. The Black woman does this in particular. And so it does have a role on like kind of bringing them down a little bit, because they're taking on so much and doing so much and holding so much together. Yeah, it is nice to take some time out for some self-care. Is very important. I teach at a university, and every time a semester is over, so I'm almost at the end of my semester. So in December, you better believe I'm going somewhere and I'm being totally pampered, because I'm taking on everything. I have a son in college, trying to figure out how he's doing. I got kids, I got boys, I got everything, all this stuff. He's a project in and of itself, and so all of these things you're just trying to manage, and you do need to take a lot of self-care. We do need to take care of our physical health, our mental health, spiritual, all of that stuff. I go on spiritual retreats all the time. So
that's nice. And you're always running.
Yes.
On run day, you're always smiling. And Boyce is just
he's miserable.
But let me tell you, I'm like, he shows up, and he's like, and at some point he's doing a little live. He's like, I don't know where Alicia is. She's somewhere up there. This is like you guys are like a little reality family to me, because it's so funny when I'm hearing like when you speak about things, and then like seeing Boyce, and I'm telling you, just the run things are the funniest. Because you're literally just like this, like, hey, and he's just kind of like, yeah, well, I'm gonna see if we can make it through here. I don't know where Alicia is. She's probably already done right now. That's good.
People do not know he is so grumpy before a race. He is very grumpy. He is just like not in the mood. And then afterwards he feels better, but he is, and then I get kind of anxious, I have to hike myself up, and he's just like not feeling it. It is really, and I'm telling you, what you see, it is real. It is raw, honest.
No, it looks real. No, he looks grumpy sometimes. No, he literally looks grumpy sometimes. And that's why it's so funny, because then he's like, but at some point then he's like, okay, I can see the finish line. It's almost coming, and then, like it's entertaining.
Yeah, it is. And then after all of that complaining, at the end, he'd be like, oh, thank you so much for having me run this race. I'm so happy you did. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Oh, that's nice. How long have you guys been married?
We have been married since May 21st of this year.
Oh, that's
not even a year. Isn't that crazy? I cannot believe that. But I've known Boyce for almost 29 years.
Wow.
He's been my favorite friend. We met when I was in college at Indiana University, and he was a graduate student. I was 19 years old. So it was a long time ago. But he's been my favorite friend. He was my math tutor. He tutors a lot of people, apparently. And so, yeah, I graduated from college because he tutored me. I couldn't get through math.
Wow.
Whatever it was that I needed help with. And I now have a master's degree in statistics.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
something.
That's wild.
Yeah, because of Boyce.
Wow. Oh, that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You guys did just give me. I thought it was like a renewing or something, but I remember seeing it online.
it was.
You know.
Yeah, it was something in Houston, Galveston. We got married on Galveston Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. Oh,
Mhm.
congratulations. 29 years. Wow.
Yeah, 28,
Just knowing
29.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost 30
That's
years.
wow. Wow, that's what's up. Um, okay, so just a couple little questions, just like two more left. If anybody has any questions, you mind just like answering any questions if anybody has anything? You've been pretty thorough, with this, I tell you, you know. I know if anybody is having any issues, you need to go to coachingwithdralicia.com and make sure that she has all type of services. Well, tell us what you have on your website.
Oh, on my website, there's a class. I actually have a class on premarital therapy, premarital coaching class. There's a class on there with workbooks and presentations and everything. I also have a class on communication that's there.
Ooh.
And there's a class that Boyce and I are doing together on Sunday, December 5th, where you can pre-register for that. It is a class on no family drama. So how to bring your families together in a way that there's no drama attached to it. So he's going to come onto my platform and help me teach that class and talk about our experience coming together with each other. And it is something helpful, especially around the holidays. This is where we all kind of get together with our family members, and it can be extremely dynamic, of course. And so how do you manage all of that? So that's what we're going to do in December, first week in December. Yeah.
I love your word choice. You're just like, oh, it can be dynamic. I mean, I would probably say something else, but I love, you're so positive. That's what's up, Coach Alicia.
Yeah, it can work. It can make it. You can bring blended families together and it can actually work and be really just as good as a regular traditional marriage. There's no data that says that that blended family or second marriage it can't be as healthy as a traditional marriage. There's nothing out there. So it can happen. And I've seen it happen. So yes.
Yeah. So have I. Yeah. A lot of I mean, we're all we have. We got to take care of each other. That's for sure.
Yes.
And this is just a quick little commercial for everyone. Please, guys, please like and share this video. Okay. Black love is revolutionary. Okay. Please share this video with someone. Send it, like our brother Jabari Ozazi always says. He's one of our he's in HAPI, and he's always talking about the three, like you should do things in threes. So you have to send this video to 3 people. Okay, make sure you like it and share it. And if you want, you can let me. I got so enthralled in you. I forgot my duties as a host here. I can't believe I forgot. Okay. If you guys want to, you can go to hapifilm.com. Let me put that up right there. We have everything. We have the HAPI DVD, which Dr. Boyce Watkins is one of the executive producers. Yes. And we have gear. We have all types of t-shirts. We did a really cool post on Instagram with different people wearing our shirts and stuff. We have Browder there with a beautiful Nubia shirt. You can get it. Just go to our Instagram or Facebook page and check it out. But go to hapifilm.com and sign up for the newsletter. This newsletter this month is coming out next week. It's going to be fabulous because we have chosen like a couple of Black businesses that are kind of offering some special like pricing for some things if you want to, get some Kwanzaa gifts or you just want to buy some stuff for yourself, so make sure that you are signed up at, for the newsletter at hapifilm.com because you want to make sure you're able to partake in, the discounts. And if you want to show us some, we actually got this term from King Simon. He calls it we call ours happy love. If you want to show some happy love, we heard him one time saying that. We like that. So we kind of took that from King Simon. But if you want to show some happy love, you can hit us on our Cash App at $HAPI-Film, or you can just hit us in the super chat on YouTube, or you can just go to hapifilm.com. There's a little button right there to donate. And remember, all the money that you guys give us, it goes right back into the community. almost everything we do, we are using Black purveyors. And so, and it's like this whole idea of cooperative economics, it really can't work unless we're actually, being cooperative. So we got to work with each other. We have everything we need, like right here. We really don't need, nothing else. We got everything we need within each other.
I agree with you. Oh my goodness. Black love is happy love. And you don't know how it's expensive to do all these tours and to travel around. I just heard you say Houston, you said DC, you said Atlanta. I mean, it takes a lot of funds to be able to do that. So please contribute. I'm making a donation to Happy Film. Y'all, because I now understand how expensive this is, and you don't do this to make money. We don't do you're happy if you break even.
It's like if you can break even, we're like yes. Yes. And the thing about this is that we bring programming like people like yourself, all these like thought thinkers. I know that it's like a saying word, but it's like but you guys are just really people who are pushing the race forward, right? Mm-hmm. And every week we bring someone just as dynamic as you, not Ramesses III descendant, okay, but we're bringing all these people, and we open it up to our happy family. And so, it should be a circle of love. And even if because sometimes, listen, money, sometimes you don't always have, an extra couple dollars here, an extra couple dollars there, but sometimes you do. And if you can, please support a Black business. I tell everybody, Anthony Browder, he has been running the Asa Hilliard's restoration non-for-profit for the last 16 years. He's been digging up our history, like physically digging up our history. We started off with one tomb and has 8 tombs now. Now, all of us maybe, can't go to Egypt and volunteer to be, part of this. But if you got a few dollars for Browder, you should definitely, make it happen. And same with us. So, we're doing work and, we provide a service, and we just, feel like, if you can, we should be compensated. And if you can't do dollars, you can literally just hit the like button and send it to 100 people. like we take anything at this point. But yes. So before I think I just have like one more question, because you've really just answered all my questions, Dr. Alicia, because I've been thinking about this, since I talked to Ty Key, and he was like, we're going to have Dr. Watkins. And by the way, Dr. Watkins is going to be on the panel in Georgia, in Atlanta. We will be there December 11th. So make sure you get your tickets. You can go to hapifilm.com, and she's going to be there along with Blue Pill, Alter Candy's Shar Bates, and Ty Key himself. And it's going to be hosted by Dr. Chika Akua. You know Dr. Akua?
I'm familiar with her. I've never met her. I'm so excited to meet her.
Oh, no, he's a he.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because there's another. No, I feel like there's another Akua.
I thought you were talking about a Fua. You're not talking about a Fua. Oh, you're talking about okay. All right.
No. Although she's dope.com too. Great. Sometime is going to be in Atlanta. But yes, Dr. Chika Akua, he's pretty smart brother. He's written like hundreds of books. He's really very top-notch educator. Yeah. And so he's going to be hosting the panel. So, before I let you go, I just want to know, like, what is your hope? Like, what is your hope and dream for Black people?
I would like for Black couples in particular to really learn how to trust each other, and how to learn how to come together and really help inspire each other to do better, to lean on each other, so that when you come home every day to your partner, let that interaction between the two of them be uplifting for each other. inspirational, encouragement, because I get down sometimes. I get out into the world, and the world necessarily is not necessarily the nicest to me, if you can believe that sometimes. But I would love for all Black families to be in a house where there is just filled with nothing but love in that house, so that when they go out of that house, they can conquer and do any and everything that they want to do. And so I think it's so important, especially the children in the homes, to be respected, to be heard, to be instead of pushed aside with whatever they're going through in their daily life, to have a person that they can turn to, that can help validate them and listen to them. Because half of these problems, we can't solve them. I can't go out. I would like to. Sometimes things happen with my kids, and I'm like, oh no, not my baby. I'm gonna go out and fight them. No, you can't do that all the time.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And it's not even about fixing it. It's about being a listening ear. And what that does is that when you take out time in your day to focus on the people and the individuals who are important to you and give them your attention, not money, not material things, not any of that. It's your time and attention. You're building self-worth in that person. You're making them feel that, wow, this person took out time to sit and talk to little old me about my problems. I must be important. I must be special to someone. So, bringing that forward into your relationships when you get older, if you come from a really healthy, happy family environment, we all know that the sky's the limit on what you can achieve. But when you have that sort of really bad baggage and trauma that you carry around with you, it can bringing forward, get in the way with a lot of relationships. And then you have to come see people like me, that will be happy enough to help you sort through all that. But why? I'd love to work myself out of a job. I'd love to say everything is all fixed. I could just go somewhere and sit down. But the reality is that there's a lot of work that we need to do on ourselves and how we treat each other and how we treat the people that we love. It's very important. You should never be harsh with each other. You should always be loving. So that's the biggest key.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I mean, that's a good hope and dream. Like to always be in a place of love all the time, even when you're mad.
Yes. Especially when you're mad.
Especially when you're mad.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And when you feel, you can feel when you're not going to say the nicest thing. You got to just say, you know what? I'm not in a good place right now. Can you give me some time? We're going to talk about this.
Bingo. That's great. That's great. No, let me tell you, I think that's probably one of the things that I've learned over the years is that sometimes you just don't have to respond right then.
No, you don't.
You don't need, you just take a little step back, take some little deep breathing, go for a little walk or just do something. Then you can kind of come back and be just at a level mind,
Yeah, because when you're triggered like that and you're upset, you're not going to say anything constructive.
No.
You don't have to eat it later on. You got to apologize. And why go through that? You don't want to damage each other. You love that person.
Yeah. That's what's up. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Alicia. I cannot wait to see you in Atlanta. This is going to be great.
We'll keep this conversation going. Thank you for inviting me on. This is such a wonderful platform. I love talking to you today.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I'm getting ready to get onto your website because you have a book. You have a book, right?
Yeah, I have a workbook that I was telling. I debuted it at the convention, and I pretty much sold out of the workbooks. But that is there, and I also have coaching services. You can go on my website, Coaching with Dr. Alicia, and there's an intake form you fill out, and I meet with couples. It's a free consultation that I do, about 20-minute consultation, just to fill them out and make sure it could be a good match for what we're doing together. And so, if you want my services, you can go on Coaching with Dr. Alicia and fill out the form. And I'm happy. I'll reach out to you. I will send you an email. I do have an assistant, but basically it's going to be me. I'm going to send you an email.
So you know what? Yeah, let me tell you. I think this is. I was going to ask you in terms of the services. So you're doing virtual as well?
It's all virtual. I don't do any in person.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. You can reach everybody.
Yeah, right here in this same spot that I'm sitting in right now. I'll just sit there.
All right, like your little background, so that's good. It looks nice and relaxed and inviting. But your personality and just what you're bringing to the table is very it's very inviting. So,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I could just sit and talk to you and be like, hey, such and such is going on. You look very inviting.
You're my buddy now. We're friends now.
Yes, like you're the perfect person to be a therapist. That's what's up. All right. Well, Dr. Alicia, like I said, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Yes. Make sure, I don't know if you're going to run any races before then. Tell boys to just hang in there. Kiss your family for me. And next week, I don't know if you celebrate the holiday. We do Black Family Day. It's not even, we just call it Black Family Day. And we do all black things. So yes. But happy holidays, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All righty. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Yay. Okay. Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Awesome. Fam, thank you guys for coming out today. We have some exciting couple of weeks, coming. Like I said, we're going to be in DC on December 5th with a special presentation from Anthony Browder after you watch the HAPI film. And then December 11th, we will be in Atlanta, Georgia, and we have Dr. Chika Akua, who is going to host the panel discussion with Taki Grant, who is the HAPI director, the producer, the writer. And then we also have Alter Candy's Shar Bates. We have Blue Pill, and Dr. Alicia Watkins will all be on that panel. But before the panel, we're going to have a special presentation by Dr. David Anderson. And I tell you, this is like a game changer, what he's going to talk to us in terms of Black people and money. So make sure that if you're in the Atlanta area that you go to hapifilm.com and get your tickets. And then the third week, we're going to roll to Bridgeport, Connecticut, and hang out with the Haitian Collaborative. Okay. These sisters are getting it in. I tell you, they're posted every day about, getting their tickets for Connecticut. So please make sure, right now we're in the, we're kind of getting together the panel and all that good stuff. So make sure if you're in the Connecticut area, get your tickets now. And then January 9th, we will be in Houston, Texas, with Dr. Wade Nobles, and Asar Imhotep will be on the panel. That's going to be nice because Dr. Wade Nobles don't always come out. He's coming out to hang out with the HAPI family. So make sure if you're in the Houston area, January 9th, that you get your ticket. Other than that, I think we are done here, folks. It has been so good to see everybody. And also, I can't believe I forgot to say this. So, we've been talking to Professor James Small. He's had a little knee surgery, and he wants everybody to know thank you. He wants to first thank everybody, for all the well wishes, the cash apps that you guys sent him. It was also his birthday. So he just wanted to thank everybody. And so please keep him in your, keep him like in the forefront of your brain, keep sending him love and light, and hurry him, up for a speedy recovery, because he will be with us at the One Africa conference in Egypt next year. So, let's keep him in our thoughts. All right. So in the words of the great Professor James Small, please, peace and blessings.
I don't know what we can talk about in this nation without talking about white superiority. Honestly,
who defines the meaning of God also defines the relationship between economy and God.
African Americans spent $1.3 trillion last year, making us the 16th wealthiest nation in the world. Why have we not turned those riches into wealth to develop our community?